Hi YouTube, it's Kia of Kia Comments and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be discussing some of my favorite audiobooks. Some of the reasons why I chose these books have to do with the fact that I loved the tangible book and wanted to see how they'd be translated when I listened to them. And other reasons have to do with the fact that I loved the actual readers of the book and wanted to see what they do with books that I read but didn't particularly absorb in the same way that I did whenever I listened to these particular narrators. So without further ado, let's get started. The Curious Incident of the Dog at Nighttime, written by Mark Haddon and read by Ben Tibber, follows 15-year-old Christopher as he tries to unravel the mystery of a dog that's killed in his neighborhood. Christopher has Asperger's syndrome and is told by his therapist that one way for him to communicate better with individuals might be to write things down. And so this book is written in diary form. Christopher is excellent at puzzles and he's excellent at mathematics, and so throughout the book what he writes comes up in the form of equations and puzzles. This book is one that I think should be listened to as well as read. I listened to the book and read along at the same time. I found it deeply pleasurable to switch back and forth through listening and reading. And also, this book, which is read by Tibber, is the dramatized version, and it was a really good decision. Tibber reaches down deep to bring up Christopher's kind of stoicism as well as his vulnerability, but what I found that Tibber did exceptionally well in the reading of this book was to tap into the pain of Christopher's father, who's recently divorced and suffering in many ways, even more than his son is. He's stumbling through the world, and it's one of these books that I think was really heartfelt, and it does a lot of work narratively, allowing the reader to know more than the protagonist, which is always pleasurable for me. In White Teeth, written by Zadie Smith and read by Denis Sterlin, Sterling takes us through multiple generations, multiple cultures, and multiple places without missing a beat. This book arguably has one of the best openings that I have read in the past decade, maybe 15 years. And Denis Sterlin gives a wonderful opening that's due when listened to. She takes us back in time to Jamaica, back in time to World War II, into the British public school system, and at no point in time was I confused. What she also does is render each character in a very illuminating way. We also learn something about the Jehovah's Witness religion, and we learn a lot about the history of Bangladesh and the history of Jamaica. I thought that the amalgamation of cultures, of times, of generations, as readers listen to Denis Sterlin follow two narratives of two families, was really well done. The next two books on my roster have more to do with the narrators who read the book than the books themselves. That's not to say that the books weren't wonderful, but the reason that I took these audiobooks out from the library had more to do with the fact that I trusted these books in the hands of the readers. When Robin Miles takes hold of Marlon James's The Book of Night Women, she makes me believe that I am in 18th century Jamaica. The book follows a collective of women who lead a slave uprising on a plantation in the heart of Kingston, and Robin Miles just buys in. And I have heard her read for Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie in Nigeria. She's read for Anja Flournoy in the cities in America. She's read for almost everybody. And in this book, she took me to the Caribbean, and she had me believing that she was one of the individuals who were a part of this female-led uprising. It is a fantastic book all on its own. But in the hands of Robin Miles, the Book of Night Women rises up and stamps the reader. As a matter of fact, I was so engrossed in this that I missed my exit. I actually went 3 exits past my exit that I get off to take to work, and then I had to turn back around. But I didn't feel any way about it because I got to listen to the book a little bit longer. Mark Patton is another Audible reader that I buy into. Whatever it is that he's reading, especially if it's by an author that I already like, I will either put the book on hold, and if I can't wait, I will download the book from another library that I am a member of, and if that doesn't come through, I will then give in and buy the book on Audible. Mark Patton's reading of Denis Johnson's Jesus' Son is something that I think everybody who likes Denis Johnson should listen to. mostly because I feel that Jesus' Son is poetry given narrative. The book is just so beautifully written. The images are wide sweeping, and then Mark Patton's voice takes the protagonist, a complete and total asshole, and humanizes him. I loved the way this book was rendered in audio form. I don't know what it is about the voice of Mark Haddon, but it gets me every time. He is the best reader for an unlikable character. And the character in Jesus' Son is frankly despicable. But in Mark Patton's hands, the character in Jesus' Son turns into something else. He reminded me of what it means to be human, that all the cleavages and divides between individuals, the continents, they don't mean anything once you can relate to hardship. And hardship is something that no matter how big or small it is, everybody goes through. This book surprised me with the moments of compassion that it made me feel, and it reminded me that the distance between one individual to another isn't nearly as far as it sometimes seems. The next two audiobooks are delivered by characters who are from the South, and they are read by narrators who are also from the South. Sissy Spacek's reading of To Kill a Mockingbird reminded me of the way that individuals from the South ventilate the full lexicon of the English language. The only people who do it better, I think, might be the British. I was also reminded that the culture in this book that could use the English language in such a beautiful way and break the English language open could be so narrow in their ideas of human beings that they thought were different based on a social construct. In the Deep South, before the Civil Rights Movement, I was once again reminded of the injustice of the death of an innocent man. Sissy Spacek put me back in my chair in high school, crying over the death of a man wrongly accused. I know that there are a lot of people out there who think that Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird is problematic on multiple levels, specifically to do with gender. But that is something that falls by the wayside, and all you are doing is listening to the story from a perspective of a young Southern girl who doesn't yet understand the social cleavages that have hemmed in the individuals in the society that she has grown up in. Sissy Spacek is the bomb.com anyway because of the way that she carried the slang in the visual version of Stephen King's Carrie, but if you don't watch her, go ahead and read her. To Kill a Mockingbird is a classic for a reason, and the way that Sissy Spacek rolls it out to the listener brings up all of the natural things that individuals should question about themselves and their prejudices. Dean Robertson's reading of Barbara Kingsolver's The Poisonwood Bible, for those of you who know me, you know I was going to mention it, is spectacular. We are in the heart of the Congo, following the Price family, who are missionaries from Georgia. The story is told in multiple perspectives, and Robinson does each perspective, the Price women, justice. Robinson, all at once, is a 5-year-old precocious girl. She is a genius, disabled twin. She is an intelligent, adoring twin. She is a rebellious, dislikable, and admirable oldest sibling. And she is a deeply misunderstood and ignorant mother. Moreover, Robertson does justice to the fictionalized Congolese village, Kalonga, and all the village's inhabitants. She does justice to the political outbreak going on in the Congo, and she illuminates everything that's problematic about individuals who feel that they are well off enough or know well enough to step in and help individuals who they deem more unfortunate. Robinson also reminds the reader that individuals who are in a position to help can do good when they go into a country. This book is deeply important. It is deeply compassionate. It is complex. It's not one thing or another. And I have to admit that I've read this book either every year or every other year since I think I was 17 or 18. I just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, I have a review of this book, and I will leave the link to that review in the description box below. That's it. That is all. Please leave comments in the section below letting me know your favorite audiobooks and whether or not you've listened to any of the audiobooks that I've mentioned. Please like and subscribe. Keep reading, keep writing, keep reviewing. Bye now.